And of course, when we're talking about these EMFs, his natural design is, of course, we can be exposed to EMF in nature, but when we have these man-made frequencies, they're going to be not in resonance. They're not going to be consistent with our natural design. Would you agree with that?
Oh, quite definitely. When we sleep, David, we're in a delta and theta brainwave state. That's 1 or below 1 to 8 waves per second, or hertz. That's our
Right.
brainwave state when we're in a restorative sleep. 5G is 60 to 90 billion waves per second.
Oh my
And then
goodness.
your router is 2.45 billion waves per second. Same with your phone, same with your
Yeah.
smartwatch, same with the earbuds. So,
Yeah.
yes, it's a big difference than how we're designed to coexist with the universe.
Welcome to the Natural Health Matters podcast, where it's all about maximizing your health potential so that you can look and feel your best at any age. I'm your host, David Sandstrom, naturopathic doctor and biblical health coach, and this is episode number 78. Today we have on the show Justin Franson. Justin is an athleticism performance coach. His client list consists of many of the highest ranked professional athletes in the U.S. Justin is one of the only athletic performance coaches in the country that is doing hands-on nerve treatment for performance. He's known for getting sports concussions back faster than ever, and he's an expert in EMF, or electromagnetic frequencies, and that's what we're going to talk about today. Justin, welcome to Natural Health Matters.
David, thank you so much for having me on your show.
All right. It's great to be here with you. So this is going to be the first interview I've done from a car. I'm not in the car, but Justin is.
Apologize, everyone. I got caught on the road, but we got connection. We got grounding bags. We're going to have lots of information for you.
Excellent. Thank God for technology. It's all working. So let's hope it stays that way. So Justin, for the Natural Nation, for those that don't know, what are EMFs?
EMFs are frequencies. They have an electromagnetic resonance to it, and they can be anything from a cosmic EMF, just because the universe is electric and so are we, or it could be a man-made electricity generation. Now, the big difference that we want to understand is that the universe has a certain polarity and waveform to it that we are one with and we accept with. So, for instance, the sun has unpolarized waves. They distribute equally in every direction, more like scalar waves, where if the sun were a one-directional waveform, we wouldn't be here today. But the man-made are one-directional waveforms. So it's polar opposite than how the universe revs, and it causes lots of chaos for our body. So that's what we're going to talk about today.
Yeah, excellent. Well, for your listeners, it's my contention that we maximize our health potential when we align our lives more fully with God's natural design for spirit, mind, and body. And of course, when we're talking about these EMFs, his natural design is, of course, we can be exposed to EMF in nature, but when we have these man-made frequencies, they're going to be not in resonance. They're not going to be consistent with our natural design. Would you agree with that?
Oh, quite definitely. And remember, it's a polar opposite charge. They're one directional waveforms, which cause lots of chaos and vibration in our body. And then the proximity with these, they're 10 zeros faster than how we sleep, rev, and optimize. So when we sleep, David, we're in a delta and theta brainwave state. That's 1 or below 1 to 8 waves per second, or hertz. That's our brainwave state when we're in a restorative sleep. 5G is 60 to 90 billion waves per second.
Oh my
and
goodness.
Then your router is 2.45 billion waves per second. Same with your phone, same with your smartwatch, same with the earbuds. So yes, it's a big difference than how we're designed to coexist with the universe.
So you just mentioned a few things: cell phones, Wi-Fi's, antenna towers. So we're bombarded with these things all over the place, right? So can you speak to what, if you are experiencing, I'm sure people's ability to adapt to these harmful energies varies from person to person, but what kind of symptoms could somebody be experiencing if EMF is a problem for them?
Definitely. Well, start with the adaptation process and the absorption rating. So there's the SARS ratings that, people absorb this EMF in their body. We're made of water and electricity. We're a conductor. There's people that are more of a compromised to this when you're younger or older. Obviously, fetus doesn't have a blood-brain barrier, so they don't have any skull, or their skulls aren't fully developed. And so
Right.
older, younger, the people that are sick, they get decharged from it. So when you get decharged, it's really challenging to heal. So our grounding bags can actually recharge you through a tapping protocol, which is super fun. But the EMFs have this innate healing property of the earth, which is that negative ionic charge that we're pulling from. And that's what the earth does best. So we look to Mother Nature to solve that challenge.
Yeah. So if I'm, let's say I'm an airline pilot for the last 30 years, and we get bombarded with EMF up there in the in the cockpit, especially. All the wiring in the airplane is routed through the cockpit because we need to have access to all the switches, the circuit breakers, relays, and all that is up there. And I have a Gauss meter, and I brought it into the cockpit with me a number of times, and it's almost useless because when you turn the thing on, it just pegs out. In most areas of the cockpit, it's just full pegged. It's off the chart how high it is, especially when you get near the windshields, because we have to have those heated. Windshields are heated not only for ice formation, but if we run into a bird, a cold windshield will crack and shatter much more easily. So the windshield is always heated, even on a warm day, for strength. So we have a lot of EMF, and I can tell you one of the symptoms I experience when I'm at a long day flying is fatigue. You have exhaustion at the end of a long day, unlike you have in an office environment where you might have some EMF from the Wi-Fi and your phone and your computer and that kind of thing, but it doesn't compare to what we experience up there at 35,000 feet. So
Definitely.
for me,
Well,
fatigue is a big deal, but what other symptoms might people experience?
right. So now that we understand the absorption portion and that everyone's hit differently, there are actual quantifiable symptoms that people will feel. Fatigue's definitely one of them. Dr. Martin Paul out of Washington State University uncovered that the voltage gated calcium channels open up and let positive calcium into a negative cell. So that excess calcium causes tremendous DNA and cell damage. So when that happens, the first symptoms, like I call them level one, they're going to be all cognitive. So fatigue, anxiety, stress, yeah, ringing in the ears. There's going to be sleepless nights. So brain fog, like all the cognitive stuff.
Okay.
And your behavior will change. You get a lot more, aggressive per se. Yeah, level two. Let's go over level two. So we have more severe symptoms. So you're going to see more ringing in the ears, more bloody noses, muscle twitching, massive migraines, nausea. I think the Havana cohort that was on 60 Minutes a couple years ago was the first attack of U.S. embassy workers on foreign soil in Cuba and China with microwave radiation.
Yeah.
Showcased those types of symptoms, and they were hospitalized for 6 months or more,
Yeah.
each person. So then the level three would be the bigs: cancer, Alzheimer's, diabetes, suicide, cardiovascular challenges. And then the biggest right now we're seeing, David, is fertility challenges.
Wow. Okay. All right. So that's how it can manifest. So what can we do about it? What are some of the things we could do to help mitigate this stressor in our lives?
Well, really, how I'm storytelling in this podcast is to understand the universe, understand that we're made with it, identify what electricity stressors are, and it's basically all electricity. So you have to identify those, and it's electricity or your outlets in your home, anything that's electric. And then you have dirty electricity would be the other meter that we can measure it from. It's a little faster wavelength measurement that we quantified in with the meters. And then we have the acoustimeters that measure all the wireless signals. So you want to know what the different stressors are and then develop proximity awareness protocols to them. So avoid wearing Apple Watches, do not buy electric cars, shut your routers off at night, do not get solar on your home because that causes excess dirty electricity, and do not put your laptop on your lap without anything protecting it going directly to your private area. So there's super simple things. Do not put your phone next to your head and have it away. There's that SARS reading that they don't account for people having that phone next to their head. It's not meant to be glued into your head. So you have to think about, if it's an earbud, you have an airway canal directly to your brain. There's not a skull there. So you have 2.45 billion waves per second of a positive waveform localized in your inner ear, actually directly in your brain. That's going to cause acoustic nerve challenges. The California Department of Public Health did a study on it. They published it, and they had it up on the website for a short minute when they were sued to put it up. And now, of course, they've taken it down because they don't really care about our health. But it talked about all the challenges with the cancer and having a phone next to your ear. So once you have the awareness of the stressors, you can meter them and quantify these levels. And bioinitiative.org is a great way to say, hey, these are some safe levels that we have, and these ones are not safe. And so anything 1 milligauss and below for electricity is good. The GS units, we use the Stetzer electric meter. It's amps to volts, and that's Stetzer, Stetzer, electric.com. You can buy one. They're like $100 and some to get it. Really important investment for everyone, because you can see when you have dim switches, just attempting to keep the level of your lighting at the level that you want it will cause static and sparking in the line, in turn increase dirty electricity. And then you have the acoustometers, so radio frequency, or the one directional waveform, millimeter wave, wireless signals that you can measure on that. So yeah, these meters will meter out, which is crazy, because we can't even test, even on a cell phone, most acoustometers will meter out. It's too strong. So definitely there's no meter to meter 5G. So we don't know when they're turning on or when they're not turning on. The other part of protecting yourself is to get outside in nature and get grounded by nature. Remember, we have this positive charge coming from above. So our bodies act like a battery, and we rev so well with the universe. We're one with the universe. So we have this positive charge coming from above, but it's unpolarizing. And then now with the satellites coming in, beaming 5G phased array down on us, that's a polarizing waveform. And then we have a negative ionic charge coming from below. So we pull the electrons from it, and that's what charges our battery in our body. So Clint Ober wrote a book on earthing, and he talks about not having any pain, called Earthing, and the book was called Earthing, and he wrote it on earthing. But you don't have pain when you're grounded and you're earthing. You're getting barefoot and you're getting out, pulling these electrons from below, recharging your body, going barefoot, touching trees, hugging trees, getting in the ocean, pulling those electrons from the ocean, from that salt water. It's so medicinal. So
let me interrupt you right there, Justin.
Yeah.
Let me interrupt you. You just covered a lot of ground right there. So what you're saying is this: from the sun's natural energy, we receive non-polarized or positive electrons. And
Right.
Since we are electric beings, that electricity needs to flow somewhere, and it flows opposite attract, right? So it flows to the negative ions in the earth. Is that what you're saying?
Essentially, I think Eileen McCusick explains it really well, where we get the negative and positive ionic charge, and we have all of our health, as Bruce Lipton will say, is in our energy field. So this is what charges our field. And the circuitry, she can dive into that, how it flows the best in your body. It's really intricate, and she can clear it through tuning fork work. So we pull both of them from above, and that's what keeps our charge. And it's this amazing flow within it. It's just like a battery, how an actual battery would work. So we end up getting more of a charge from below and above of the good when we do it right. When we have the man-made stressors in us, as Dr. McCullough would say, we're EMF'd, because you're getting one directional above, you're wearing shoes below and not getting grounded from the earth and pulling those electrons. So we're losing our charge. And so that's why these PMF devices are fantastic. We deploy grounding bags in your home to help you sleep better than ever. And so these are hand mined crystals that have this moisture and magnetic property to repel EMF. And we sell them at doctor clinics all around the country. So there's so many different ways you can go ahead and get grounded by nature versus a man-made device attempting to keep up with man-made signals.
So what do you do with the grounding bag? Do you put it like next to your bed, or where do you place it?
Yeah, so our grounding bags we put them on or under your bed at the head of the bed. You can do the same with a desk or a car seat. Put them behind the bottom of your car seat. They would be fantastic in your cockpit in the airplane, because you're in a metal capsule with lots of electricity. And I had quick story just to divert on that, because your pilot, I had a client. They lived in a wealthy neighborhood in Newport Beach, where I'm from, and their son got childhood diabetes at 12, and their home was super high dirty electricity in Milagos. I said, you guys got to get out of here and fix this. They went on a trip to Fiji. The son just had his new diabetes tracker on, and the mom's got it on tracking. And they get in this plane, and when everyone turns on their Wi-Fi, his blood sugar went up 200 points, and he got a
Wow.
bloody nose. And then,
Oh,
yeah, and then half, 3/4 of the way through the flight, everyone falls asleep, and then some start to wake up again. His meter went up at 100 points, and when people started to wake up again, and he was still sleeping, but he got a bloody nose while he's sleeping, and his meter went up another 100 plus points. I mean, and the mom's
wow.
just watching this whole thing, going, "This is crazy."
That
So
is
we
staggering.
we know that these bodies can be affected, but the grounding bags, yeah, the more protocols with these guys is you put 5 together in your home on the floor, and they'll clear 2,000 square feet area. You're going to need 7 together if you have solar on your home. If you have an electric car, driving a Tesla, we're seeing really high levels. It's just cooking people in a unhealthy way. So we're seeing the whole front dashboard's milligauss. You're sitting on a battery, a massive, massive batteries that are dirty electricity, and the whole thing self-driving. So you need another, half 5 or so behind the driver's seat, like really on the floor, right behind the driver's seat, to clear the vibration and convert that waveform to something that's healthy. So there's different protocols that we do with the grounding bags that are exceptional. We also do a tapping protocol. You can tap on the grounding bag with one hand, and then cover your eyes with the other, your teeth, or your thymus, or your intestine area. And the tapping's like an applied kinesiology technique that has those negative electrons in the bag and directs them directly to that area that's been decharged. And the eyes are so sensitive, the teeth will fracture. That's your gateway to health. Your thymus is your electrical system for your whole body. Obviously, there's so much your immune system in your gut area. So those 4 areas are the most sensitive. So there's an incredible tapping protocol with the grounding bag that you can actually recharge your body with. So these are
Do you
areas where,
include instructions in that when you sell the bags?
oh yeah, I mean, people see, this is the thing. You try and keep up, like put a chip or sticker on your phone. It's not going to work for more than a minute. And this is what Mother Nature does, is she's so medicinal. And when we're one with her, and we understand that these waveforms, that she's kicking off for us, are super healthy, we just will start to heal. And now we have something that we can coexist with all this man-made EMF without worrying about it. So now you could essentially, keep flying, but convert these forms so it's healthy when you're flying, and you're more energized at the end of the day.
Well, I'm totally with you on the grounding aspect of the whole thing. But for somebody in the audience that's saying, "Wait a minute, this guy's saying that I can take a bag of rocks, put it under my bed, and it's going to improve my health," would you speak to the skeptic on and just explain in layman's terms, if you can, how that works and how it functions?
Definitely. The crystals have magnetic resonances in them. And so it's a very common quantifiable level. So shungite, amethyst, black tourmaline, well-known ones that have magnetic properties. Ours also have moisture properties in them. So the combination between the moisture and magnetic properties is what really allows our grounding bags to be so effective. We hand mine them, we deploy them in a way where they amplify them, and you have the most pure crystals from a pristine area that have those properties in them. And it's just like walking barefoot in a bag, David. You're pulling those electrons from the bag, and until the bag dries out, what could be anywhere from 2 to 10 years, they still work. They work super well. So you're going to have them for a long time. Obviously, you use them more. If you open them, they'll dry out quicker. You got to keep them sealed, use it as is. And it has been such a blessing for so many, because over 10% of the population is EMF sensitive. And I hedged to bet that that's way more now, with all this stuff going on in our atmosphere. And then in addition to the levels of electrification in the Internet of Things and this grid that they're rolling out.
Yeah. So is it safe to say that the moisture in the bag and in the rocks, because water is a good conductor of electricity, it enhances the effectiveness of them?
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. And I want to say to the Natural Nation, there's a reason why everyone loves a barefoot walk on the beach.
Right.
Because God designed us to make barefoot connection with the earth on a regular basis. And we've lost that. As you said earlier, Dr. McCullough points this out, is that we're wearing shoes. I see people walking on the beach on a beautiful day in tennis shoes.
Exactly.
Like, take the shoes off.
With earbuds in their phone. And
Yeah. We weren't designed to have earbuds stuck in our ears. Real quick story. Before I really learned about the harmful effects of Bluetooth, I bought a headset that went into my ears. It kind of wrapped around the back of my head. It was comfortable, and you could hear people talk outside. It didn't block out all the noise. And I thought, this is kind of cool. Well, I got jury duty, and I said, well, there's a lot of sitting around in jury duty. I'm going to bring my earbuds, and I'm going to listen to some podcasts. So I basically had these things in all day. Well, I came down with a head cold like the next day, and it weakened my immune system. And I thought, well, that's kind of interesting. And I got jury duty, I don't know if it was 6 months later, maybe actually it was a year later, because you can't go more than once a year here in Atlanta. And it was the next year I did the same thing. The same thing happened to me. I got a cold. Wow. So from that point on, I said, no more Bluetooth earbuds for David. I'm not doing it anymore. It's harmful.
Well, if I can dive a little deeper in that, if you'll allow, and
sure.
The Natural Nation will allow me to do that. Please EMF, man-made EMF are environmental toxins. And when you said you got sick, that's exactly what's happening right now with our entire world. We're adapting to the electrification with man-made radiation at levels that we haven't seen before. This new 5G rollout, the proximity to this EMF stuff, our body picks up that resonance. And the only way we know how, and the way God made us, is we produce a virus and adapt to these symptoms. So that's what we're seeing right now. And you look at the book, The Invisible Rainbow by Arthur Furstenberg. He categorizes all the pandemics in the history of the globe and directly correlates them to increased electrification in our electromagnetic blanket of an atmosphere, whether it's cosmic or man-made. So Before 1918, there's lots of cosmic shifts that throws off your REM patterns, so you don't sleep, but we adapt and we get challenges from it. Well, 1918, we introduced radio waves, and that was the Spanish flu. Satellites in the Van Allen belt, well, it was the Hong Kong flu. World War II, we introduced radar. This book categorizes every single electrification event. And even before that, we wrapped the whole world in copper, and a copper band. Got that.
Tom Cowan.
Yeah. Tom Cowan, MD, talks about that in his book, The Contagion Myth. So just like dolphins would get sick in the ocean if you polluted the water, we're getting sick because we're polluting our environment, which is our air, our plasma. And waves travel in this plasma, and particles travel in it. And whether it's cosmic shift or man-made, it's going to change our REM patterns. Our bodies are going to do the best we can to adapt to these challenges.
Right. We're always dealing with blocking factors to our health. And of course, some of this is going to be unavoidable, but we should take the steps that we can. I'd like to just review a couple of the pointers that you gave earlier. Use speakerphone instead of putting the phone up to your head, right? It's going to be hard to live without a cell phone these days. We get that. But use speakerphone instead, because when you move it even a couple of inches away from your skull, the amount of EMF goes way down. Is that correct?
Oh, huge difference.
Yeah. And stay away from electric cars. Yeah, that's a big thing. And then
well, note on that real quick. I had a colleague that did blood test work with the military. 18% lower testosterone special forces guys driving electric cars.
Wow. Interesting.
Now, and then you add the shot to it. If people get the shot that everyone's getting now, not everyone, but some people are getting, they're trying to get everyone to get, that's 20% lower testosterone. So you combine getting a vaccine with driving an electric car, you're going to take your testosterone levels significantly down into danger zone. We're going to have other challenges, bone, breast, heart challenges, potentially prostate for guys.
Mm-hmm. Wow. That's really huge. Another piece of advice was put a timer on your Wi-Fi at your house and at least turn it off at night. Right? You could go back to the old-fashioned way and actually plug your computers into the internet. Right? But if you don't do that, at least turn it off at night when you're sleeping because you don't need it.
Hardwiring's faster, safer, security-wise, and more reliable, and there's minimal health challenges.
Right. Absolutely. So that's a little bit of the low-hanging fruit, but can you offer any other pieces of low-hanging fruit that people can implement in their lives and get some quick wins?
Josh Del Sol did a documentary movie called Take Back Your Power. And he foresaw all the stuff that's going on right now in that documentary. It's unbelievable. But he talked about the smart meters and how damaging they are for your health. So I would encourage everyone to watch that documentary movie, and then you'll opt out of your smart meter. So you call your gas and electric company and say, I want to opt out of my smart meter. And most of the time they allow you to do it in California, it's $75 one-time fee, an extra $10 a month. When you do that, your home doesn't act like having a cell tower on it. So these smart meters are a two-way router. They ping into your house and out back to the substation, reading everything. So it's a huge privacy thing because they know what you're doing every 7 to 15 seconds. That sporadic ping of the smart meter is ultra damaging to our body and way more chaotic than just a straight signal. So the smart meters and opting out of those and making sure you're not even close to those when you're sleeping is going to be a huge part. We have Faraday bags. So I have one right here. We'll show you. This is our Faraday bag. It's a static bag, and trying to get it so you can see it without the reflection. So I apologize again for me being in the car, but that static bag, you can actually have the router on one side, lean the static bag against it. So at least, or the smart meter. So at least the direction of it, it's like one layer of protection. It's probably the most cost-effective layer of protection that you can lean up against it.
So you would put your phone in the bag, or what do you do with the bag?
Well, the Faraday bags, yes. Typically, I was saying you could also use them as a shielding property for a smart meter or a router or something. But
between you and the smart meter.
Right, between you and the smart meter. Technically, what they're used for is you put your phone in it, and it protects you from your phone because your phone's 2.45 billion waves per second. So it protects you from your phone. It protects your phone from data harvesting, which is the biggest thing going on right now. Your battery only lasts several hours or less because of the data harvesting. They're constantly listening to everything you're saying, and they're aggregating that information. Not only are they listening, they're tracking all your markers. So they know your fingerprints, your retina scan, your face frame, how fast you drive. They know your gait, your behavior, how you sleep, your grades, your transcripts, literally all your passwords and all your banking information. This is what your bank, essentially, if you had your bank's app on your phone, that's what they would be tracking. So look at getting Android phones, wiping them clean, and you're not going to be having as much as these tracking capabilities on a different platform than you would on an Apple phone.
Yeah. Are there some resources that you know about to help people through that process of kind of privatizing their phone?
I do, but I can't share it online.
No? Okay.
So someone can reach out if they want some help. But the people that I work with are completely off the grid and invisible from what they're doing. So, and that's a way for our sovereignty. Quite honestly, if you think about it, the CCP controls every single one of these devices that we're driving. If you're driving a foreign car, even in our voting, platforms, Dominion, their parts of this are made in the CCP districts where
Right.
they're tracking everything. So it's a big, safety measure for future. I'm one of the things that my wife will tout that I'm gifted at is foreseeing the next decade, the next trend, what's going to happen out there, whether it's Bosu balls to kettlebells to breath work to Tai Chi or the being gluten free. Those are things that I saw at least a decade or more before they came popular. This is just another one. The more we can put our phone in a Faraday bag when we're not using it, or get into an analog phone or an Android phone, excuse me, that's a 4G level and doesn't have all the trackers on it, they're not going to be able to aggregate and change us to transhuman. We'll still stay natural
Yeah.
nation.
Yeah. That's good advice. Excellent advice. So if people want to get a hold of you, what's the best way to do that?
EMFrocks.com.
Okay.
EMFrocks.com is where you find all our products. Athleticism.com. I'm an athleticism performance coach. So athleticism.com is where you'll see a lot of our curated health and performance products as well. This is, I'm in Southern California, so reach out, let me know what you have, any challenges with your proximity to these increased electrification, and we'll give you some incredible solutions, whether it's our grounding bags to convert the waveform or blocking opportunities with paint or tint, or even our simple Faraday bag. There's cost-effective solutions, and but no one does it better than Mother Nature. So we're
Right.
so grateful for her gifts.
Yeah. Excellent. That's really good stuff. Well, thank you, Justin, for sharing your wisdom with the Natural Nation.
Thank you, David. Appreciate you having me on.
For more, go to the show notes page at davidsandstrom.com/78. That's it for now. I'll talk with you next week. Be blessed.